Oh, I'm late again. Have I got Wi-Fi on? Hang on. I don't know. Oh, I'll try. Yeah, here we go. It's working. Bloody internet. So, conversation starters that don't suck. You walk into a recently I've been in a few Recently I've been in a few social situations with a lot of people I don't know, you know? And so you've got to kind of start from the beginning of rapport building and finding out who in the room you want to talk to, find out who you can talk to, find something in common with them. And all those things take confidence, they take charisma, they take guts, courage, you know, the three things I talk about: confidence, courage, and charisma, to start conversations with complete strangers. So starting conversations with complete strangers that don't make you look like a dickhead, that's another skill. Because just going up to someone and going, oh, hi, nice weather we're having. It was pretty blue today. Yeah, so Prime Minister's doing a good job. That's not going to build friends and win friends and influence people. You may have read the book. Great book. So I should reread that. I haven't read that for years. So, and one of the things in my confidence challenge, if you haven't taken it yet, is there is a day all about starting conversations with complete strangers. So it is a skill, and it's something I think you need to practice, and I think it's something you get so many opportunities to do. It's one of the few skills actually that you could literally practice every single day without actually having to make much effort, because every day there's going to be a situation where you can start a conversation with a stranger. And the more you do it, the easier it will be for you to be in situations where you can slip into rapport with someone and you can, sounds a bit rude, slip into rapport with someone and start a conversation and hopefully keep the conversation going. Maybe meet a new friend. Maybe start a new business relationship. You never know where a conversation is going to get you, you know. You might find a new lover. You might... Why I say that word and I get distracted, I don't know. But there's so many things that can come out of a first conversation, you know. Every single relationship in the world started with a first conversation. At some point, there was a first stranger conversation. So, how do you do it without sounding like a twit? Okay? Because none of us want to sound like twits. I sure as hell don't. So, I just want to give you some ideas. To start with, try not to have closed conversations. So, have open questions when you talk to somebody. So, instead of saying, do you like black pens? When they can just go yes or no, that's a closed set question. Like, it's going to be a really stilted, boring ass conversation. If you say to them, oh my gosh, there's so many colours in the rainbow, what's your favourite coloured pen to write with? Then they might go, oh, I actually really like writing with fluoro pink. You know, and then a conversation starts with, that's awesome. What made you start to like fluoro pink pens? And there might be some random conversation about a science class in year 10 when they got their first bunch of fluoro texters and they fell in love with fluoro pink pens. Random, but people will remember you for the most random conversations, you know. So things like talking about things like fears, talking about if you're at a party, for example, how did they meet the person having the party, you know? I was at a birthday party last night, and when someone asked me how I met the host, I actually met her for the first time in New York before we all got sent away from a conference because of a hurricane. You know, like random place, you know, but that was our conversation starter last night, which started quite a great conversation. Talk about trends. Give a compliment. Especially, it's funny, I don't think enough of us give compliments to people, either women to men or women to women, or I think sometimes men are afraid to give compliments to women because they think they're trying to hit on them. Like, give a compliment. If it's a genuine compliment, do not tell someone you think their top's nice if you think their top is dog ugly. You will come across as insincere and the conversation would be short-lived. And if the conversation's not short-lived and the person ends up falling in love with you, they're going to work out that you're a lying idiot and it's not going to go anywhere. So just don't do crap like that. Sorry, I got the sniffles. So fears are another kind of fun thing to talk about because people have random fears. I have a fear of those ball pits. So if I was at a dinner party or at a party and someone asked me a question about fears, like I'm going to talk about those ball pits that most people put their kids in, and I couldn't get out of one once, and someone had to come in and get me out of the thing. I walk past those things now, and it's like, you hear the stories of kids that are people that are afraid of clowns. I'm like that when I see a ball pit. It's like, my dear hell. And that's completely random. But that would be a good thing to be in a conversation. Success is a great thing. Everybody has a different idea about success. So asking someone about what they think of success or failure can actually strike up a really interesting conversation because it's so not personal in a private parts kind of personal, but it's a personal belief thing. So that's a good thing. So values are good conversations. Don't do that. So how many boyfriends have you had? That's a sleazy, sucky question. Don't do that one. But asking someone what their guilty pleasure is, that could be fun because their guilty pleasure might be eating Magnum ice creams in the bathtub. Okay? So it could be a bit interesting. Crazy weather things they've been in, travel, food, morning person, nighttime person, routines, how they distract themselves on the internet. There are many, 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 many things. But number one, when you're starting those conversations with strangers, make it open. Sorry, I'll go through my top tips. Make them open questions. Make it more about them than about you. As I've said it a million times, and you've heard every second person on the planet say, 2 ears, 1 mouth. Use them in that proportion. So really listen to what they're saying and then bounce back another question or a bit more of a dialogue on it to keep the conversation flowing. And remember to keep them open, remember to keep them open, remember to keep them open. If you do flip into telling a story about yourself, try and make it short and snappy. Try and make it interesting and exhilarating. And try not to make it in that wanky kind of look at me kind of thing. I know for myself, I sometimes have to go, enough about me, back to them. Enough about me, back to them. Because I like telling stories. And sometimes that can come across as a bit yucky. So I do have to curb that because I'm a storyteller. Not in a lying kind of storyteller, but a storyteller kind of way. You know what I mean? But yeah, so I have to go, okay, so I've told a story, back to them, back to them, back to them, back to them. Ask them what annoys them about people is another interesting one. Hopefully it won't be something about the host of the party because that wouldn't be such a good thing. What their most perfect day would be like, that's a great one. Try to find something within the first couple of interactions with them. Try and find a commonality, because once you've found something in common, interesting and exhilarating, yes, yay, I love it. But once you've found something in common, then you kind of can open up this whole exploration of things. Say you're an accountant and you start a conversation with someone and they happen to have a favorite maths teacher. And you're an accountant who happens to love maths. They don't all love maths. You could spend the next 45 minutes with the person talking about algebra. And that to you two would be really, really interesting. So you found something in common. For me, that would bore me batshit. And I'd like to start talking about Nigella. But once you find that thing in common to talk about, it's really easy. It's like a ball. It just goes bounce, 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 bounce. And keep eye contact with the person, even if you don't know them. Some people find eye contact a bit intimidating and a bit kind of, if they're just meeting for someone in the first time, they'll look down a little bit, or they'll look over a shoulder, or they'll fidget on their feet or do that kind of thing. you will get a better connection with the person if you do make eye contact, you like without a shadow of a doubt. Not like, don't do the come home with me kind of eyes within the first couple of seconds, unless it's a different kind of party. But having that eye contact will definitely help with keeping that conversation balanced. What are some other cool ones? Stuff about their home is cool, because people like to... Here's the thing. People like talking about themselves. We do, okay? Absolute... It's a human fact. Most people like talking about themselves. So ask them what a passion project they're working on is, you know? And chances are, if someone starts talking about a passion project, a friend of mine does her passion project is working in a soup kitchen. Like twice a month she does it. You know, she starts telling someone about that as her passion project. It opens up a whole line of conversations. You can talk about politics. You can, again, politics is judge that one on a per basis thing. Not everyone should talk politics, especially in a social situation. But it can bring up a whole lot of things about social hierarchy and wealth division in society and all sorts of things. So that can be a really interesting thing when someone, just based on asking them what their passion project is, you know, like a philanthropic kind of thing on that regard. What was the highlight of their day? You know, what are the 3 most interesting things about you? Give me the 3 most interesting things about you. Bang, bang, bang. Fascinating. Someone's going to love being asked that question, you know. What led them to this event? God, there's so many. So many that you can talk about that from... You can talk about the food. Yeah, you can do that. And you can talk about the music and things like that. But don't be boring. Make your conversation interesting. So they're my tips. Listen, open questions, back to them. Bounce. Eye contact and interesting questions. What would you like? This is something to remember. What do you wish someone asked you in a first conversation? Because chances are someone else would also like to be asked that. So if there's something that you would like to have the opportunity to talk about with someone, ask them that question. Maybe they'll ask it back to you and you'll get to share what you actually want to share, you know? So next time you're at a party or a coffee shop or anywhere where you can have a conversation with a complete stranger, don't wave a pink fluoro pen at them. Have the conversation and let me know how it went. You know, from, you know, what are you doing next weekend, or what did you do last weekend, to a fascinating question about their date or a fear, as I said. Just go for it. I could probably do it if I just sat down now and was a bit dedicated and write 220, let's pick a number, 220 conversation starting questions. In fact, I'm going to challenge myself to do that. I just said that live. I'm going to come up with 220 conversation starters, and I will post it in here some stage in the next few days, and I'll do it in this live so you can all see it, because I think that'd be cool. Would you like that? I think that'd be a good thing to have. So until then, if you get invited to a party, let me know how it goes. Mwah! Night.